Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The direct impact of Storm Ashoba begins in the wilayas of the governorates of South Sharqiya and Wusta. The Public Authority for Civil Aviation issues its warning number 5 regarding the tropical storm condition. And the indirect impact of the storm may extend over the governorates of North Sharqiya, Muscat, Dahliya, South Al-Batna and Al-Hajar mountains. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Vladimir Putin on the Russian Federation on the occasion of his country's declaration of state sovereignty. His Majesty the Sultan has also sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Benigno Aquino of the Republic of the Philippines on the occasion of his country's independence anniversary. The impact of Storm Ashoba began last night and increased today with heavy rains and moderate winds on each of the wilayas of Ashur Jalan, Bani Bu Ali, Ja'lan, Bani Bu Hassan, Kamil wal Wafi, Niyabat of Ras Al Had, Mazira, Wadi Bani Khalid and Dima Watayin. Convective bands of clouds were formed on the governorates of South and North Sharqiya and Worcester. The Public Authority for Civil Aviation issues this afternoon its warning number 5 regarding the tropical storm condition. According to the latest observations, the satellite images and the current location of the tropical storm Ashoba is approximately 130 kilometers away from South Sharqiya coast, associated with the reduced surface wind speed around the center of 65 kilometers per hour. It is expected that the storm may downgrade to a deep depression during the coming hours. The storm will continue to move towards the area between Mazira Island and Ras Al Madraka with moderate to heavy rainfall associated with fresh to strong gale winds with a direct impact of the governorates of South Sharqiya and Al Wusta during the next 48 hours. The indirect impact of the storm may extend over the governorates of North Sharqiya, Muscat, Dahliya, South Al-Batna and Al-Hajar mountains during the next 48 hours. Seas will be very rough along the southeastern coastal areas with a maximum wave height ranging from 4 to 7 meters and rough along the coastal areas of Sea of Oman with a maximum wave height of 3 meters. The Public Authority for Civil Aviation urges that the public to take precaution and stay away from low-lying areas and avoid crossing the flowing wadis. It also advises that the fishermen and sea goers to avoid venture out of the sea and follow the latest and updated bulletins from the National Multi-Hazard Early Warning Center. For more information, we have online Mr. Suleiman Al-Jahtami, Senior Meteorologist from the Meteorology Department. Mr. Suleiman, after the issuance of warning number... Good evening, how are you?
Fine, thank you very much indeed. I would like to say that before I start that until 4 o'clock this afternoon, the total amount of rainfall recorded in Ras Al Had was about 33 millimeters, while in Mazira Island it was 16 millimeters and Sur 0.6 millimeters. And of course, with coming hours, we'll be getting the total amount of rainfall and will be told to you. And I would like to say something, as you mentioned very, very clearly. If I may read this, of course, this is warning number 5, tropical storm Ashoba. According to the latest observation in satellite images, the current location of tropical storm Ashoba is approximately 130 kilometers away from southern Sharqiya coast, associated with the reduction in surface wind speed around the center to only 35 knots, which is very, very reasonably, and stands about 65 kilometers per hour. And the tropical storm is expected to downroad to deep depression during the next coming hours. What we're saying is, whenever you have tropical cyclones and when they are in the deep oceans, they tend to absorb a lot of moisture, while heating the land, they tend to dissipate, and this is what we're expecting at the moment, and it will continue to do so for the next 24 to 8 hours. Of course, we have divided two sections now, where the storm is going to have a direct impact and indirect impact. As you mentioned very clearly, the direct impact will be between Mazira Island and Ras Madraka, with moderate to heavy rainfall associated with fresh to strong gale winds. And indirect impacts, of course, will be over governors of northern Asharqiya, Muscat, Al-Dakhiliya, southern Al-Batna, Al-Hajar mountains during the next 24 hours. Of course, the areas which are going to have direct impact, they're going to continue to have moderate to heavy downpours associated with strong gale winds and rough seas. And in these areas, sea state will be rough along southeastern coastal areas with maximum wave height of 4 to 7 meters, and moderate to rough along Oman Sea's coastal areas with maximum wave height of 3 meters. Why in Oman Sea's the sea conditions a bit less? As you know, because the tropical system now is towards the east of northern Asharqiya, and we expected it to further downgrade it. And it will be the public authority for civil aviation advises the public to take precautions and stay away from low-lying areas. And we always stress this, of course. Avoid crossing the wadis. It also advises the fishermen and seagoers to avoid venture into the sea and follow the latest and updated bulletins from the National Multi-Hazard Early Warning Center. And I would like to say also that the tropical storm, as I mentioned before, is expected to downgrade, and we're going to call it for the next few hours just a deep depression. While coming 24 to 48 hours, it will continue to dissipate. Back to you.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Suleiman, and giving the latest updates on Ashoba. That was Mr. Suleiman Al-Jahdami, Senior Meteorologist from the Public Authority for Civil Aviation. His Excellency Mohammed bin Nasser Az-Zabi, Chief Executive Officer for the Public Authority for Civil Aviation, stressed that through National Multi-Hazard Early Warning Center, the Sultanate is ready to monitor and follow tropical condition Ashoba, adding that the center is fully managed by Omani cadres. Observatories of the Directorate General of Meteorology affiliated to the Public Authority for Civil Aviation recorded varied quantities of rains in a number of wilayas of the Sultan's governorates. The highest was the Mazira rain, which exceeds 3 millimeters, followed by Sur that witnessed 2.2 millimeters. The Sultan's coast witnessed a rise in the sea waves from 4 to 7 meters in the Arabian Sea, whereas it was at 3 meters in the Sea of Oman. The wind speed in the governorate of South Sharqiya reached 20 to 35 knots, whereas in the governorates of Muscat and Al-Wusta was estimated from 15 to 20 knots. The temperature in Fahud registered 45 degrees Celsius, and the lowest was in Jabal Shams with 19 degrees Celsius. In the governorate of Al-Wusta, the wilaya of Dukum witnessed cloudy skies with a rise of the sea waves. Clouds started to cover the wilaya that is expected to be affected by the tropical storm during the coming hours. All government and private authorities have been preparing to deal with this weather condition, especially Dukum Port, Dry Dock Company and Dukum Special Economic Zone. His Excellency Sheikh Mohsen bin Hamad Al-Maskari, Wali of Dukum, added that all preparations made by the authorities concerned to deal with the condition are remarkable. The Subcommittee of Civil Defense in the Governorate of Dhofar ended its preparations to deal with adverse tropical condition in various sectors. It prepared shelter places and provided them with necessary needs. It also put work plan during the tropical storm. The civil defense hospitals and health centers also ended its preparations to receive emergency cases and form subcommittees in this regard. Other bodies are also exerting similar efforts to deal with this adverse weather condition. His Excellency Dr. Abdul Munam bin Mansour Lahsani, Minister of Information, and His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Nasser al-Harasi, Chairman of the Public Authority for Radio and Television, visited the National Multi-Hazard Early Warning Centre. Their visit is meant to acquaint with the work process and follow the latest development of the tropical storm Ashoba. They also toured the centre's various sections and got familiarized with modern technology equipment in the field of meteorology. They further met the national cadres working in the centre and had a look at the media centre that includes the Sultanate of Oman Direct Broadcasting Studio. All types of petroleum derivatives are available. This was affirmed by Oman Refineries and Petroleum Industries, ORPEC. Dr. Hilal bin Abdullah Al-Hinai, Director General of Support Services at ORPEC, called on citizens in the previous news bulletin not to scramble to fuel filling stations. Still to come in our news bulletin. The Royal Oman Police Service Centre building is opened in the Wilaya of Liwa.
بفضلك ماما عيش معنا الشهر الفضيل. بيدك التي تحضر من أي شيء أحلى شيء. بحنانك الذي أكبر معه. ولمستك التي تعطي المائدة طعمها. أنت سر كل شيء طيب.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. Signed by His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, His Excellency Sheikh Saad bin Mohammed bin Saeed Al Marzouf Al Saadi, Minister of Sports Affairs, left the Sultanate for Azerbaijan to attend the inauguration ceremony of the first European Games in the capital Baku, which will start tomorrow and continue till the 28th of June. More than 6,000 sportsmen representing 50 European countries take part in the event. The Sultan's participation in this significant sports event came to embody its keenness to strengthen cooperation ties and support relations with friendly countries in all fields, including the sports and youth field, as to serve the aspirations of the people in the Sultanate and these countries. The Sultanate and the Islamic Development Bank signed an agreement according to which the bank gives the Sultan's government a loan of 68 million Omani riyals to contribute in funding part of the cost of the project for laying pipelines from Wadi Deika Dam to Muscat and Kuryat that cost around 79 million riyals. The funding represents around 86% of the total cost of the project. The agreement was signed on behalf of the Sultan's government by His Excellency Darwish bin Ismail bin Ali al-Balushi, Minister responsible for financial affairs and the Governor of the Islamic Development Bank. This signing was made on the sideline of the 40th annual meeting of Islamic Development Bank Group in Maputo, Mozambique. The delegation of the British Joint Command and Staff College, chaired by Major General Julian Free, commander of the college, visited the National Defence College. They were briefed about the college, its facilities and modern equipment, which contributes in achieving its message and vision in preparing national leading cadres. The delegation also visited the headquarters of the College of Command and Staff and were acquainted with its content and IT, as well as its role in qualifying and training the officers. The Royal Oman Police Service Centre building was opened in the Wilaya of Liwa under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al-Futaisi, Minister of Transport and Communications, with the attendance of His Excellency Lieutenant General Hassan bin Mohsen Al-Sharaiqi, Inspector General of Police and Customs. It came within the framework of Royal Oman Police to expand services centres in the community so as to serve the individuals in the field of traffic, passports, residence and civil status. Through this center, the citizens and residents can complete their transactions easily. The building includes qualified cadres and latest technologies and communications. The Royal Oman Police also has strategic plans to open such centers in other wilayas of the Sultanate, in addition to maintain peace in the society and facilitate other services. The engineering services of the Ministry of Defense, in cooperation with the Public Authority for Electricity and Water, drug water wells from potable water to cover the current shortage in water supply. The engineering services explained that the plan included digging wells in Al-Mawalih, Al-Khud, Al-Ghubra and Al-Ansab. They were equipped with pumps and other equipment to provide citizens and residents with potable water whenever it is necessary. With the participation of 30 touristic establishments, Oman Hotels exhibition was opened to encourage internal tourism in the Sultanate. It aimed to acquaint visitors with hotels and its services within the increase in the tourism movement during the last period. The inauguration ceremony was presented over by His Excellency Ahmed bin Nasser Al-Mahrizi, Minister of Tourism. Muscat Securities Market MSM General Index today added 9.29 points, comprising a rise by 0.14% to close at 6,482 points compared to the last session, which stood at 6,473 points. The trading value today stood at 6.25 million Omani Riyals, comprising a rise by 39.66% compared to the last session, which stood at 4.48 million Riyals. The report released by MSM pointed out that the market value rose by 0.14% to reach about 14.99 billion Omani Riyals. The Ministry of Regional Municipalities and Water Resources signed agreement with Oman Oil Refineries and Petroleum Industries Company and Sohar Aluminium to finance project of establishing Liwa Public Park in the Governorate of North Al-Batna. The project is worth 400,000 Omani Riyals. The project comes in partnership with the Wali Office in Liwa, Director General of the Regional Municipalities and Water Resources in North Al-Batna, and the two companies through Jasur Corporation. The project will be implemented at the new region in the Wilayat of Liwa, and it will stretch over 66,000 square meters. The implementation will begin in July 2015 till June 2016. Now again for the warning number 5 regarding the tropical storm condition issued this afternoon by the Public Authority for Civil Aviation. According to the latest observations and satellite images, the current location of the tropical storm Ashoba is approximately 130 kilometers away from a South Sharqiya coast, associated with the reduced surface wind speed around the center of 65 kilometers per hour. It is expected that the storm may downgrade to a deep depression during the coming hours. The storm will continue to move towards the area between Mazira Island and Ras Madraka with moderate to heavy rainfall associated with fresh to strong gale winds, with direct impact over the governorates of South Sharqiya, Al-Wusta during the next 48 hours. The indirect impact of the storm may extend over to the governorates of North Sharqiya, Muscat, Al-Dahliya, South Al-Batna, Al-Hajar Mountains during the next 48 hours. Seas will be very rough along the southeastern coastal areas, with a maximum wave height ranging from 4 to 7 meters, and rough along the coastal areas of Sea of Oman with a maximum wave height of 3 meters. The Public Authority for Civil Aviation urges the public to take precaution and stay away from low-lying areas and avoid crossing the flowing wadis. It also advises the fishermen and seagoers to avoid venture out into the sea and follow the latest and updated bulletins from the National Multi-Hazard Early Warning Center. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The direct impact of Storm Shoba begins on the wilayas of the governorates of South Sharqiya and Wusta. The Public Authority for Civil Aviation issues its warning number 5 regarding the tropical storm condition. And the indirect impact of the storm may extend over the governorates of North Al-Sharqiya, Muscat, Al-Dahliya, South Al-Batna and Al-Hajar Mountains. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.